Om Ajnanatimandasya Jnanasanasalakya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Chitchetaya Manobishtam Staptam Yena Bhutale Svamrupakadamyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shiru Shiyuda Padakamalam Shirum Vaishnavam Shah Shirupam Jarijatam Saganaragnatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savdutam Pajana Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Saganalita Shivshakam Vitam Sha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandha Jatpate Gopesha Gopkakanta Radhakant Namastate Tapta Kansana Gaurang Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishvana Satadevi Pranamaya Hari Priya Pankha Kalpyabhisha Kripasan Bevasha Padnabhavyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Krishna Vistaya Mutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharini Nirvashesha Srinyavadi Paskachai Besatani Srila Prabhupada Ki. So today we will try to understand the deeper meaning of humility. Why is humility so important that in spiritual life? And what does it mean? Srila Prabhupada gives a kind of definition in the 13th chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita. So text 8 to 12 explains 21 items of knowledge. And the first item of knowledge there is humility. What has humility to do with knowledge? We will explore that. But Srila Prabhupada in the second paragraph of the purport, he writes, humility means that one should not be anxious to have the satisfaction of being honored by others. So, satisfaction to be honored by others. That honored for what? For oneself, for one's learning, for one's achievements, for one's knowledge, one's renunciation, that being honored for one's beauty, that all these belong to the body, that there's nothing for the soul in there, that you may be honored during your whole life, or you may be dishonored during your whole life. It's all for the body. At the end, you have to give the body back to material nature. So, it's useless. And that's what Srila Prabhupada said. The material conception of life makes one eager to receive honor from others. But from the point of view of a man in perfect knowledge, one knows that he is not the body. Anything honor or dishonor pertaining to this body is useless. So one should not be hankering after this material deception. So it's all for the body, which we are not. But there's a deeper ground behind. And I want to explore that together with you. So we are going now to the 3rd chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita. Now in the 3rd chapter, Krishna start to explain how to act spiritually, how to act as a spirit soul, that and not as the body. So Krishna says, Jakhnarta Kamanodhyatra Lokayan Karma Bandhana 3.9. Krishna says, yes, you must do everything as a sacrifice for me, as a pleasure for me. Everything you do, do it for me, to please me. That Krishna in 3.18 also says that one should offer one's food to me. Otherwise, one is a thief, a stainer. Krishna says that Chahya Sistasino Santo Muchante Savakil Visai Punchate Tet From Papa E Pachant Atma Karanat. The devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins, because they eat food which is offered first for sacrifice. Others who prepare food for personal enjoyment verily eat only sin. For personal enjoyment. That's the problem. That's where the illusion starts. We think we are the body, and we want to enjoy the body. And trying to receive honor from others is a subtle form that so it's all based on a misunderstanding because at the end of the 5th chapter, Krishna says, Bhaktaram Sahyatav Tapasam Sarvalokam Shridam Sarvabhutanam Hyatfamam Santimritsati. One who knows that I am the supreme enjoyer and the proprietor of all planets and the friend of all living entities, he attains peace. So, disturbance comes and suffering comes when we think I'm the enjoyer and this belongs to me. And that's where arrogance comes, or pride. That's the antonym or the opposite of humility. And that's the problem of everyone in this material world. We think we are the enjoyer, and we think this is for me, for my enjoyment. This is a sense of proprietorship. So these 2 points are the cause of pride, and it's arrogant, because it's arrogant to think this belongs to me, it belongs to Krishna. Sarvalokamashwaram, he is the proprietor of everything. And that we can say, oh, I'm going into the house of my nature and I'm going to live there, and I think it's my house. What will be the result? The police will come and arrest you. And that's the same thing with material nature. We think this is for my enjoyment and this is mine, and material nature arrests you. How does the material nature arrest you? It gives you reactions to every action you do. But Krishna in the 3rd chapter said, stop that. You must act spiritually. And in 3.30 of Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna explains how to act spiritually and avoid this pride and be humble. Mai sarvani karmani sanyasyatma setasha nirasir nirmamo buddha yutyasva vigata svara. Therefore, O Arjuna, surrendering all your works unto me, with full knowledge of me, full knowledge. And what is this knowledge? What makes us humble? Without desire for profit, not for my enjoyment. It should go to Krishna. And Krishna, that's the difference between a materialist and a spiritual person. If a devotee, if a materialist sees a flower, a beautiful flower, he will think, I want to enjoy it, and he wants to sniff and smell the flower. But the devotee, when he sees a beautiful flower, he says, oh, this Krishna is the greatest artist. He made such a beautiful flower that I want to have this flower to offer it to my deity, to Krishna. So that's without misunderstanding. It belongs to Krishna, and therefore we use it in his service. But the materialist thinks, no, I'm the enjoyer. I want the profit, but I desire to enjoy. But Krishna says, nirasya, without desire to enjoy. We must become indifferent to the material energy, in the sense that we don't want to be attached to it, we don't want to be averse to it, we just want to use it in Krishna's service. That's explained in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. A real renunciation means being not attached to anything in this world, but at the same time use it in Krishna's service. And that is the right understanding of possessiveness. So unless we get that point, we cannot be humble. Humility starts with knowledge. Srila Prabhupada writes, it is the first item of knowledge. And that's a test, Srila Prabhupada said, of spiritual advancement. When we is not humble, is not spiritual advanced. Humble person is spiritually advanced. Because he had understood everything belongs to Krishna and is for his service. So without desire of profit and without claims to proprietorship. And free from lethargy fight, Krishna says, be indifferent to this material energy. That don't become attached to it or averse to it, which is also attachment. Just use it in my service. It's Krishna's energy, it's very valuable, it's not our energy. But of course, how does this sense of I and mine, how is it born? Because if you act with that right understanding, that Krishna is the enjoyer and the proprietor, and we use everything in his service, without being attached or averse, then one acts spiritually. But Krishna warns Arjuna, this attachment and aversion are obstacles of the path of material, of the spiritual path. Attachment and aversion are obstacles. Paripantina, he says, that it blocks our spiritual advancement. Aversion is negative attachment. And we know how these attachments go. Dayate visyapum sam sangrit desha bhajayate sangya sangyate kama kama koda vijayate. Bhagavad-Gita 262, Krishna says, Dayate. It starts with meditation. Meditation on something we want to enjoy. And we meditate on it with the desire to enjoy it. And that creates attachment. And by that attachment, this desire to enjoy increases, called lust. But it never happens. It cannot satisfy the soul, because the soul, the need of the soul, is not to be satisfied in this world. The soul is superior energy, and material nature is inferior energy. So, and we think we are superior energy, so I can enjoy. It's all for me. This it's under my control, so let's enjoy. Christians sometimes have misunderstanding of the Bible. In the Bible it said the Lord created everything and put it under the dominion of the humans. Dominion means, but some interpreted it, God created everything for our enjoyment. But that's not what it means. Dominion means you have to take care of it responsibly. That out of duty to serve the Supreme Lord. That's what it means. Dominion does not mean that you can kill animals. It's under my control, so I can kill it. No. These are severe misunderstandings. And this is the cause of our fall down in the material world. This attachment and aversion. But the soul by nature must be attached. That's the activity of the soul, it must be attached. But we can be attached either to the spiritual energy or to the material energy. And that's what Krishna explains here. That we have to be attached to the spiritual energy. Attached to serving Krishna. Use everything to serve Krishna with an understanding it's Krishna property and it's for him, for his enjoyment. And thus acting spiritually, and that gives, that purifies the heart, and that is the seed for developing prema, love for Krishna. And that will satisfy the soul. Only that. We want our relationship with Krishna in love. Otherwise we will be always frustrated. And it's the cause of false ego. False ego has these two elements. This is mine and this is for my enjoyment. These are the two building blocks of false ego, which cause attachment and aversion. And is the cause of pride and arrogance. So, spiritual life is based on knowledge. Knowledge of Krishna's energies and knowledge of our relationship with Krishna. If we forget that, we think this is mine. But this is on the gross level, this pride, and the subtle level. At the gross level we can speak about possessiveness. I think this is mine. But the subtle level is, yes, I have great capacities. I'm a great scholar, or I'm good in business. So you have different material intelligence, some are good in the Vaishnava activities, and some can do business, some have more practical intelligence, some have intelligence in which they can focus on abstract thinking, so many kind of intelligence. But where does this intelligence come from? Krishna says, Sarvasya Samridisha Nifistamata Shmityanama Pamsa. I'm seated in everyone's heart. And from me comes knowledge, remembrance, forgetfulness. So all knowledge of everything, every capacity we have, it's from Krishna. It's not ours. Krishna gave it to us according to our past karma to use in his service. So, and that's what Krishna says in Bhagavad-Gita. I'm the capacity in man. So this capacity is not ours. And thinking I'm good in that and therefore I need to be respected. That I have so many diplomas, I have so many achievements, so please honor me. But that your achievement, everything you have done, is by the mercy of Krishna. Krishna empowered you. It's Krishna's doing it to you. But we think, I've done it. And Krishna speaks about that in Bhagavad-Gita. Prakati Kramani Guna Kamna Sausa Ahankara Vimudatma Kartam Iti Manyate. Krishna says, one would think that he's the doer in this world. He's a Muda, a great fool. Because everything is done not by him, but by material nature. And Mayadakshanakti Prakati, I control material nature. So Krishna is a capacity in man. So that we forget. We think, I've done it, I'm a great personality, and I should be honored. And the one who dishonors me, he's my enemy. And so the attachment, due to the mode of passion, becomes so strong that dishonor becomes worse than death. So this is very important knowledge, that we understand why humility is important.
Recording in progress.
So we are chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. And what's the formula that Lord Chaitanya said to be successful in this chanting? That the formula, Tinata Pishna Sesna, Tara Visesnana, Amana Maladana Kirtana Sadari. One should be more tolerant on a tree. One should be more humble on a straw in the street, more tolerant on a tree. And one should be ready to give all honor to others and not ask any respect for oneself. So that's the practice of humility. Don't ask any honor for whatever you do, because you are stealing the honor from Krishna, because Krishna is doing it, but we think I've done it. Krishna says there are 5 factors of action. 1814. There is the body, there are the senses, there is the subtle body and the endeavors and so on. And the super soul controls these 3. Controls the body, Your controls your thought, allows to think what he gives you. He controls this. He controls the body and the senses which are part of it. So that's all done by the super soul. We only are the karta, the fifth factor. The karta is the soul, is the performer. So how do we do things? That the soul does things by desire, attachment. That's all we do. Otherwise, the soul has nothing to do with this material world. But we take the honor that and in the Bhagavatam there are many examples of those who have been bewildered by this false ego and became proud and arrogant. During Kartik month we hear about Managriva and Ala Kuvera, who were the sons of Kuvera, the treasurer of the demigods, very wealthy, and with wealth, money, you can, in this world, you can buy everything you desire, and then you don't care for anyone anymore. And that was their case. Nala Kuvera and Manigriva, they were enjoying with young girls naked in a lake. And Narada Muni appeared and they even did not cover themselves. They were so drunk. And Narada Muni cursed them. Of course, a curse of a sage is a blessing. He cursed them to become trees in the courtyards of Nanda Maharaj, but that they would be liberated by Lord Krishna. So, and they became, yes, trees in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj, and were standing there for years and years. But they were hearing and observing as trees all the activities of the Vrajavasis. And Vrajavasis, all their activities, they put Krishna in the center. And gradually, they understood their position, their heart became purified. They developed a service attitude. That's humility is expressed to service. Because when they were standing in a courtyard, the servants of Kuvera, they knew that these two demigods were there in these trees. And every evening they would come, these servants of Kuvera, and ask the trees, please tell us what happened. What are the desires of these Vrajavasis? And then they would tell everything what happened during the day. And yes, they would, and if this Vrajavasis would desire anything for the service of Krishna, then the servant of Kuvera would provide that would appear somewhere to fulfill their desires. So they developed a service attitude, and gradually they became purified. So by devotional service, gradually we give up this mentality. But so devotional service is not sentimental. It's done with knowledge. Knowledge. Krishna is the enjoyer, not us. that Krishna is a proprietor, not us. And we serve him with love. That so also this humility is important in the chanting. That so an absorption in this duality of attachment and aversion that's a cause of disrespect. That if you think this is mine, it's disrespectful because it belongs to Krishna. It says, if you think I've done this, that look what I've done, that's stealing the honor for Krishna. Krishna has empowered you to do it, and you are just his instrument. If Krishna does not want you to have this knowledge or this capacity, he can take it away every moment. Every moment he can take it away. So therefore, respect and humility are going together. A humble person will respect all living entities and will respect that everything is Krishna's energy and has to be used in his service. That if we lack this respect, then we go into fault finding and so on. We think ourselves the doers. We think, yes, this person has done this to me. That's a low fallen person. I'm such a good person. That's the illusionary energy. We think, yes. So this form of disrespect comes by absorption in this duality and this fault finding. That humility means I'm in this world and I'm in difficulty. That I'm going through this suffering, this birth, death, old age and disease, and I'm insignificant. This knowledge will make us more humble and help us to surrender to Krishna. And seeing the devotees as our only way to liberation. Because why is that? Attachment. The soul must be attached to something. If we are attached to this material world, to anything, it's a cause of bondage, and is based by this false ego, I and mine. But that same attachment, Lord Kapila says, Saiva Sudasukatu Moksat Varamapavitam, that same attachment which entangles us in this material world, Prashangracharampasam Adma Kavyovidu, it entangles us if we use that same attachment to become attached to devotees, we are on the path of liberation. So we should be conscious. Attachment to devotees, that's the way out. That attaching to serving them, attachment to engage in spiritual activities with them, hearing together about Krishna, chanting, and not blaspheme them. If we blaspheme devotees who are dedicated to the spreading of the holy name, that's arrogance. That's based on a big misunderstanding. So respect and humility. Respect. Don't ask honor for yourself, but give honor to others. Give all respect to others. Another of the 10 offenses is, disobey the orders of the spiritual master. Spiritual master's orders are Krishna's orders. If you understand we are in difficulty, and that following these orders is our only way out, we become very respectful and humbly submit and try our best to follow, even sometimes difficult. And also respect the holy name. So the holy name is Krishna. And we are a servant of Krishna. We are the servant of the holy name. We don't use the holy name to get wealth or prestige. Wealth and prestige, attachment to it, is false ego, I and mine, contamination. We cannot use the holy name for that. It's not humble. It's trying to get something, the Vaishya mentality. So I try to give you a deeper understanding of why we should be humble, and that humility is the beginning of spiritual practice. Dat we nepane pariprasna sevya protection tegenam gaan als tot darshana. One should serve the spiritual master very humbly, submissively. And that's the beginning. And inquire from him submissively. Don't ask questions to the spiritual master which are not very relevant to your life. If we are not following Srila Prabhupada's instructions, then we get in difficulty. But do we know Srila Prabhupada's instructions? Do we read the Bhagavatam? Do we hear his lectures? So, that is all important. Humility is the key for progressing in spiritual life. Not only the key, it's also the measurement. You can see whether you are humble or not. If we are humble, what will change in what we do? Tatena kampam se samakshma punjat me vat me ritam vipakam richvak vavorbir vividata namaste jivetyo mukti bade sudayabhak. Tatena kampam se samakshma punjat me vat me ritam vipakam. So this is a verse spoken by Brahma, and he says to Krishna, that if one accepts this one situation, Krishna gives us a situation according to our past karma, and certain happiness and distress. Krishna gives us. And a devotee is humble and thinks, yes, that's what Krishna gives me. That's the appropriate reaction for what I did in the past. I want to love Krishna. Krishna is all good. He wants me to get this happiness and this truth. I want to be satisfied with it. Thank you. Then you are ready for liberation. But if you think you are the enjoyer, and you are the enjoyer and you want to be the proprietor, and Krishna gives you a situation where that's not possible, and you go to fight again, there you go again. But if you accept it and use everything you get, happiness and distress in Krishna's service, we are ready to go to the spiritual world. So, this is all basic knowledge of Bhagavad-Gita, which is difficult to understand for the conditioned souls, although it is so simple, but we don't get the point. We hear this class, and after the class, we act again out of false ego, controlling things for fulfilling our selfish desires. But there is hope. If we hear about Krishna regularly, chant, and learn to engage in Krishna's service with his humble service attitude, we will make quickly spiritual advancement, feel satisfied and happy. Thank you very much. Any comment or question, please?
Yes, Maharaj, thank you so much. If you see the chat, there's a kind of question. I think it's in regards to if we do not blaspheme others, but blaspheme ourselves, so to say. You can read it. It's in regards to doubts of oneself and having, I have not the English version, the thought that I made something wrong, etc. Can you comment on this, please?
Yes, that sometimes in psychology they speak about low esteem. Oh, I'm nothing. But that's not a devotee. That we understand, yes, this by this knowledge we understand how I act inappropriately. And there is no reason to lament about that. We don't lament about that. There's a situation in this world. Someone asked Srila Prabhupada, I'm the most fallen. Please be merciful to me. Srila Prabhupada replied, You are not the most of anything. So that's another kind of false ego. That yes, we are fallen in this world because we have a material body, but the soul itself is not fallen. The soul is spiritual, it has nothing to do with this material world. And our future is so bright if we engage in devotional service. We can be proud to be a devotee of Krishna, to be a servant of Krishna. And that's the right pride. You can be proud of that, to be a devotee. That don't think yourself a devotee, but being very fortunate that you're on the path to become a devotee, and that you are servants of Krishna. And it's a bright future. That if we concentrate on the spin cells of all what happened in the mind, that and one starts to doubt and so on, that this is illusionism, who tries to discourage you. But how can you get to these doubts? By knowledge. I'm trying to explain today, don't know if I'm successful, that we must act out knowledge with transcendental intelligence and not listen to this mind. So one thinks, oh, I'm fallen, and now I'm discouraged, I can't do anything anymore. Forget it. That's the mode of ignorance. No, we must come to knowledge. So it's not just enough, not just good enough to understand this knowledge. You must act upon it and control your mind, and not concentrate on what the illusory energy tells you. But you can only do that, get out of this trick of the mind, if you have a good sadhana, if you are spiritually strong, if you chant the holy names with attention, you can overcome that. But yes, humility means, like Somanas Bhujam Prabhu, is my teacher of the Bhagavatam. Are you self-realized? And he said, yes, I'm self-realized. I realized I'm a complete fool. So that's our realization. The realization of one who is humble. I'm a complete fool. I was thinking this is mine, but this belongs to Krishna, and this is for my enjoyment. But Krishna is the enjoyer. That is foolishness. And that foolishness we must give up. That's someone asked Srila Prabhupada, yes, I'm the most fallen. Prabhupada replied, what are you going to do about it? So we have to rectify based on this knowledge. And don't listen to your mind and become discouraged and so on. If you have no spiritual sadhana, that will happen. So it doesn't work, devotional service, if we are not strong in our practice and in regularly associating with devotees. Anyway, I hope that helped. That Regina, is that okay? Okay. I see Mother Pranapriya, you have also a question?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Maharaj, I'm struggling subconsciously with one attachment and it's impacting me sometimes. I try to serve my family members sincerely in a mood to take them closer to Krishna, but they happen to be in their own misconceptions and don't try to utilize all the opportunities they have to they can use for their advancement. This is not like for last 10 years. This is like going on, and this is very disappointing sometimes. How to deal with it? I understand that I'm put into this situation because of my past karmic reactions or whatever it may be, but it do impact me subconsciously. I try to get along with it, but how to deal with it?
Yes. Thank you for your point. Krishna says at the end of the 18th chapter, one should not explain this knowledge to those who are not austere and not my devotees. If we try to do that to those who do not accept Krishna consciousness, of those who do not want to be instructed by you, you will get very heavy reactions. So we have to be careful with that. Follow Krishna's instruction and don't preach to them directly. Preach to your behavior, to your service attitude, to your humility, to your tolerance. That will be a good preaching. And whether they will accept or not, it's up to Krishna, not to us. It's up to Krishna. Krishna sees in their heart that if they think that I don't have to follow Krishna's instructions, I will go my own way, because that's the point where it boils down. Rejecting Krishna consciousness means rejecting Krishna. That's what it means. That
They're like half here and half there. I mean, half following the rules and regulations and half not following.
yeah, that yeah. But we should be careful not to disturb them. That's what Krishna said in Bhagavad-Gita. Well, we should not disturb them, rather we should engage them in devotional service, somewhere or another by trick. Yes. Is that okay, Mother Panapriya? Good, thank you. Good. Something else?
Maybe shortly, Maharaj, 1 second. What about the point, I mean, thank you so much for your words, and of course after many years in Krishna consciousness we know this, but we have not realized it. Do you have any another practical idea, if there's a situation between devotees, if there's some disagreement, how to practically go forward and keep the mind calm? I mean, probably most of us have also experienced that if the mind is so disturbed, we cannot really concentrate on the chanting, or somehow on reading or something. If there's also a trick, maybe we can overcome this, to not listen to the mind.
Yeah, the thing is that that's also the complaint of Arjuna. He says this mind is chanchalam, is flickering. It's obnoxious, stubborn, very difficult to control. Going from one thing to another, it's more difficult than controlling the wind. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, the only way to control the mind. And I think that's the answer to your question. He writes, the only way to control the mind is engage our mind in devotional service, in serving Krishna always. That we should not absorb ourselves in these difficulties between devotees, but focus on the goal and try to cooperate from your side and do your best, see what happens, and don't have big expectations. Sometimes things may not go, or may go in another way than you desire. But always engage your mind in devotional service. Don't meditate on these problems, trying to solve them, because conflicts between devotees, sometimes devotees, you may try to solve the problem, but they don't desire to be solved. They must also have the desire to come to an agreement. But it's not there because of too much false ego in mind, and the controller, I'm right and the other is wrong, then what can we do? Don't go into it. You will also become entangled. But see it positively. Try to engage everything in devotional service. And if it doesn't work, just leave it aside for some time and concentrate on your service. course, every situation is different, but these are general guidelines, I would say. Is that okay?
One second. Yeah, thank you very much. So practically also having this kind of humility, saying, in a sense, okay, I cannot deal with this situation at the moment. I cannot deal with these circumstances at the moment. Krishna, please, I leave it to you. I'm sorry that I'm not able to realize, use the knowledge and put it practically into to be able to use it. Simply saying, Krishna, I'm not able, please help me to get out of this situation. And after some time, I guess Krishna will make arrangements to help us, to get us out. And in the meantime, simply continuing to focus on the essence, like chanting, hearing. This is what I understood, Maharaj.
Yes, that's
Perfect. Yeah.
that's what we can try to do. Everything is in the control, ultimately, of Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Good. So I'm.
Also,
Yes.
sorry.
Yeah, I've been very happy with you. I think I made a lot of points. Good to let it digest. That I tried also to record this session. I will send you the link and maybe you can hear all what I said once again. It's good to hear that a few times. And then it goes deeper and one day we will get it. So I hope this was useful. Any other points? Good. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Haribo.
Thank you so much, Maharaj, and we are looking forward to next Saturday having you once more in regards to our topic in humility, which we have in our little in our group work here in Heidelberg in regards to the spiritual warrior. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for inviting us.
Thank you very much. Jai Prabhupada.
Jai Prabhupada.